So I'm John, and I'm the World Rep. The World Rep, you take what's happening in your own context, and then you go and talk to people from across the world about what's happening with you and what's happening with them, and it's a good chance to learn from each other, and it's a really good time to just remember that we are one big family, interspersed throughout the world. It's quite humbling at times as well to be listening to different people's experiences and stories, but it's a sharing and a fellowship kind of role, and an encouraging, supporting role. The role is for 5 years, and in that 5 years they can be 2 big meetings that you go to, and they can be anywhere in the world. So I went to South Africa for one of them, and the second one was in London, and at those, that's where members of the World Methodist Council get together, and they have their meetings, which, as I say, are about discussing what's happening in the world, what different issues we might want to speak out on globally. And then there's about 2 meetings each year where you meet with just the British World Methodist Committee, and we just talk about any world issues that are cropping up within the church, and sort of thinking about what we might want to bring to the World Methodist Council from Britain, and how we can support some of the smaller churches that we've helped set up around the world as well. Some of these churches have got lots and lots of young people, so it's really good to connect with them, and it comes back to being a connected church and being united throughout the world. Sometimes it's easier to connect with people that you're more similar to, and there are quite a few younger people on the World Methodist Council. There's a youth and young adult subcommittee, and they do some quite interesting work trying to connect young people globally, and they do some sort of training seminars and that kind of thing, and to have a youth input into that is quite important. As a rep, you have to try and feedback what you're doing. It's also a good way to be able to understand who you're representing, so meeting with other young people and churches throughout Britain, to hear what young people are saying and understanding those, so you can effectively represent them on a world scale. The favourite thing for me over the last 5 years has been being together in fellowship with people from across the world, and the one thing that will always stick in my mind is when we're worshipping together and we're invited to say the Lord's Prayer in our own first language, and it just really makes you think about the words and how powerful that prayer actually is. I think to be a good World Rep, you need to be happy to start conversations with people and be a good listener, because sometimes English isn't the first language that someone will be speaking, and being a good conversation starter is also good. You've got a few hundred people who are all there and they're eager to talk to each other, but sometimes you need to be the one to start that conversation, and to have a good kind of idea of what's going on globally is quite important too, because there might be something that actually doesn't necessarily affect you directly, but some of our family in Australia, New Zealand might feel more strongly about. And being happy to travel and to try new things, you can experience some incredible things, but you've got to be happy to put yourself in that place, maybe take yourself out of your comfort zone slightly. I think doing the role has taught me a lot about the world and how people interact with each other, and has challenged some of my perceptions. So the rep weekends are when all of the 3 Generate representatives go away, and we meet together and we talk about what we've been doing, what the youth president has been doing. It's a really good time of fellowship and learning, and we develop some of our own skills as well, so some of our presentational skills and things like that, and it's a great chance to learn from each other, and to just have a bit of a time to refresh and remember that there's a whole team of reps who are working together. I applied for the World Rep role to find out more about what was going on globally, and to try and make some of those links, and to hear some of the stories from different churches. I think you should definitely apply to be the World Rep. It will give you some incredible experiences. You can go to places that you never knew existed, and see things that you never thought you'd see, and meet people who have got some incredible stories, and they will encourage you just as much as you can encourage them.